It's all your fault. And you may ask why. Because I said it. That's why. From the room where it all happens, how are you, everybody? Sunday night. Now I'm excited tonight. Baseball is coming. Now I get really metaphorically depressed right after Christmas because all the leading up to it. And look, if you were a Christmas person, you had nothing to complain about. You had your snowstorm, you had your bitter cold, you had everything. But now it's time. You know, I was talking to Danae, my girl. How are you? Ira, my boy. How are you? Um, I was talking to Al Pacino a long time ago. I used to play softball with him. And this was around, the first time was April 86. Hey, New Orleans Soul, how are you? I hope you're doing well. Um, I'm scared of any land that can be covered in water like a fishbowl. So I asked Al Pacino once. I didn't ask him the question. He came out. Al Pacino is the kind of guy where he would not, he was polite and nice, but he wouldn't really say anything. My friend Jeff Green, who's been on this channel, said once to him, Jeff is about 7 to 8 years older than me. And he said, you know, Al, when I was in high school, which around 1972, Jeff would have been about 17, 18, whatever. He said, when I saw Serpico, I walked around, I didn't shave, I didn't bathe. And I wasn't there when he said it, but Pacino said, you did that? So we were talking one night, and he said, Vin, I'll tell you how you do it. So he, funny. Maybe they should fear you. So he said, I'll tell you what I do. His first love was the theater. From American Buffalo, he was in Shakespeare, Looking for Richard. And he said to me, hey, Mitch, when I do a Broadway production and I'm, for the last time, in the dressing room getting prepared, I look in the full-length mirror and I stand there. He stands there and he just like, he looks at every angle. And he told me why after that. Now, remember, he was in his mid-40s when we were playing ball. Worst shortstop ever. So he said, you know, I look at the mirror and I said to the mirror, I don't remember what show it was. Okay, it was great being you. I learned a lot about myself. I hope you learned about me. I told you I was a little, but I have to leave you now. But it was great. And I'll always have this as part of me. So very innocently, I said, his real name was Alfredo, and I used to break his shot. I said, Alfredo, what do you do if there's a revival and you have to do it again? He goes, I'm fucked. But Sunday night with Brooklyn Guy, good vibes around. Now, like I said, this was a very eventful winter for me. I lost my brother-in-law. Loved him, and hi, John. My beloved Colby. No words. I am a guy, that could sit here 4 hours and talk. I get stuck once Colby's name is mentioned. I got nothing for you. But now I'm probably going to go to see Jeff, who works for the Mets. Jeff takes the players with the golf cart. There's a few fields. It's a complex, and he drives them. And fans, I think, from Gate D. In fact, Mike Massa is with my friend Catherine. They're together, and they went to Florida. Mike has a house down there. And I called Jeff and set it up where hopefully Mike and Jeff will talk and he can get them on and maybe meet a couple people. So I'm probably going down there about March 13th. Going to go down with my son, probably 3 days, 4 days, and just get away. A guy's trip. Go to the spring training facility, see Jeffrey, go to his house. I know Jeff since 1984 and a very instrumental part of my life. Very instrumental. Just a good dude. So the morning has passed. The morning, it's like getting out of surgery, seeing the big cast on your leg because they did ACL surgery. I had to pick a tough surgery. And like you're taken back and things start flooding your mind. Oh my God, 8 weeks. What happens if it gets itchy? How am I going to take a bath? Like everything hits you. And then after a day, it's kind of like, oh, it's here. Well, that's what happens after you give up the Christmas spirit. And now you have to move forward. And moving forward for me is March Madness, which I'm a big proponent of sitting by my big screen and screaming my ass off for 4 weeks, the NCAA basketball. And then Major League Baseball, I'm a big Met fan. Do I believe in life after death? Patty, there better be, or I'm screwed and I won't see anybody that I loved and is gone again. Yes, I do. My friend Katrina, who I knew from Shout, wonderful girl. We went to a Buddhist retreat back in 1985. Went for 3 days. It was a 3-day thing. It was up near Mamaroneck, and most of the day you had a communal breakfast for about an hour. Then there were like 4 different group sessions, stress relief, all this stuff. I think it was like $79 each back then. Might have been a day, I'm not sure. But we were friends. And, we were adults. Had 2 beds, one was for all the luggage. So we learned a lot. And they asked Trina, she went by Trina before she grew up. And Trina is from Alexandria, Louisiana, New Orleans. And I went to a wedding with her in Louisiana, in Alexandria. She taught at LSU for a while. So they said, Trina at that time, what is your feeling on the subject? And T said, I think that if I had to really think about it in terms of the sinner's suffering, it would be the sinner lives in a house and is on the porch, and all the sinner's loved ones walk by him when they're merrily going to the park and whatever, and they don't know him. How much would that hurt? Yes, Patty, I do. I'll tell you a story. This is going to turn into an Oprah special. You're going to have to buy rope after I get through with you. My sister Nancy, 8 years ago, it'll be 9 in June. died of heart complications. Originally, they're going to do a few stents, which nowadays stents are a layup. They saw damage, rescheduled it. They can't just say, "Yeah, you're free. We need a quadruple." You got to plan it a little. She had a dream that my father, who was deceased, my grandfather deceased. You see a reoccurring theme here. They were at a big bargaining table. Now, Nancy wasn't at the table, but they were negotiating to give her more time to be on Earth. When she woke up, she told the doctor. The doctor said, "You on Propanol. You shouldn't remember anything." She goes, "Well, don't tell me this." And she wasn't that kind of girl. She lasted about 8 hours, told everybody she loved them, everything. Clot, gone. Yes, I do. Isaac, how are you? Isaac, thank you so much. And Colby says hi to you. Thank you, Isaac. That really means a lot to me. Thank you very much. It's hard. And Leonidas, Patty, you will. You will. I really believe you will. I'm good, Isaac. When I used to think of death, I used to worry about losing my parents. But I started hanging on the back of the death train and then jumping off like Bronx Tale. I was about 11. My family had friends. My father went to school with this guy, Joe Famularo. Yes, Mitch. And my sister was so popular that they closed the school she taught at, and she had 800 people at her wake. I told my brother-in-law, "I'll beat that. There'll be much more for me." And he goes, "What?" I said, "Yeah, I want to make sure I'm really dead." So what happened was she, I forgot what I was saying. Look at this. Am I getting old? What a shit show. I was just saying something that was pretty good too. Can someone remind me? Oh, yeah. When I was the friend's family, they came to the pool. We lived in a luxury building. They'd come to the pool. The guys were working, just Laura, who was the mother. There were two boys. One was Lisa's twin, fraternal twins. And then the middle boy, who was a year younger. And everybody, like the Tony Soprano, Richie Aprile, Jackie Aprile. Oh, imagine Benny and Laura. She didn't have any interest in me. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. And kids hear everything but don't hear the whole story. Well, I had heard that my father was talking to my mother, and they both seemed upset. And Joe was a street guy. And he, joking around with his daughter, and he hit her. And she goes, "Dad, that's my bad arm." And he said, "What do you mean your bad arm?" "Cancer." Shawshank, yeah. Get busy dying. Play the game of existence till you cease. So eventually they took her arm off. I don't remember. I'm guessing a year and a half she lasted. And then I had a girlfriend, August 9th, 1983. She made sure she made it a memorable one for me because 5 days later was my birthday, and she had an asthma attack. And I got a call at 7:30 in the morning. Vinny, Lydia died. Get the fuck out of here. Hung up. When it rang again, I knew it was real. Yeah. In fact, all my bandmates came and met me like at 8 o'clock in the morning. And they questioned me, "Were you getting engaged or whatever?" I said, "What?" Because I had bought something for her. Not an ankle bracelet, but something similar. I forget what it was. and I was taking her out to dinner. Now, I hope to this day that she didn't think we were getting engaged, or at the very least, maybe she was happy the last night of her life. And because they saw her diary, and she all of a sudden had made a haircut appointment on Kings Highway. Vinny's taking me to a nice restaurant, has a special gift for me. And they asked me. I said, no, I was taking her to dinner and everything. And very, very, very tough thing. Now, I'll tell you why I believe in it, Patty. About 15 years ago, one of my bandmates, good friend, we started at Merrill Lynch together. We lost contact. He finds me on Facebook. Paul, myself, and Frank, three amigos everywhere. Oh my God, how you doing? How's Frank? Actually, not so good. He has cancer. Frank and I talk. I end up going to Rab in Staten Island, the bowling alley, for a benefit. I go to another benefit, and I thought it would take time to get into Brooklyn. For some reason, there was no traffic. So I went by Kings Highway. I wasn't going to go by Liddy's house, but I used to play softball over there, and let me go. I see an older woman. This is 2015, probably. An old woman with groceries. I said, oh my God, that's her mother. I go around the block. I said, I'm going to ring the bell. I pull over. I go around the block. She's now in the house. She had one of those, the bell didn't ring. It had like a knock thing. She comes to the door. She goes, yes, can I help you? She was probably, I don't know, 70, 71, something like that. And she looked at me. She said, Vincent? Oh my God. Come in. I felt funny. Like, who shows up at your door? Well, me. Crazy. I got papers to prove it. So we start talking. I so wanted to see her room again. She was a great equestrian. She won ribbons, rode horses, Jamaica Bay Riding Academy. She was terrific. Down near Prospect Park, there's like a stable we could ride. She took me horseback riding. And, well, this is the story, Mitch. Oh, no, well, that's Frank. So what happened was, I said, would it be okay if I went by her door? The room? Oh, sweetheart, of course. And Marion takes me, and the door's a bit ajar. Her bed's no longer in there, but the ribbons and everything. So what I used to do was the windowsill. I just used to like sit against it like this if I was talking to her. I don't know, lean up against it. Well, I did that, and we felt a breeze, like a brush of cool air. I swear to you, because she felt it too. She looked at me. And she told me, I think my daughter was saying goodbye to you because I never got a chance. And that was one of the greatest moments of my life. I was able to have some closure. And that's how bad it would be marrying me. She took the other way out. So who got the best of that deal? But you know what the wonderful thing, if you could find a silver lining? She died beautiful and never aged. Everyone that remembers Lydia remembers her as a beautiful 22-year-old. She never aged. So it is, Patty. So Frank Simo, he he's in Sloan Kettering now. After about a year, there was nothing more he could do. He had esophageal cancer, and he used to have dark hair, mustache. That was his trademark. I go up about 2:30 in the morning. I couldn't sleep. I said, fuck, I'm going. I must have known there was 24/7, visitation. If the hospital was Jewish, it would be 24/6. And I walk right by him. He's completely looks like he's shaved. Hey, Rock, totally shaved. I walked by the door. I saw a nurse. I said, "Is Frank Simo?" He goes, because I hadn't been at that hospital. He was at Columbia Pres, where my friend's a doctor. The last time that was his last stop. And I said, now his wife, who went on to become a nurse, she was, when Frankie died, he was about 49, 48. She became a nurse. She had 3 beautiful kids. And she went home. I never knew this. And she never knew this. I was one of the last people to see him alive. Now, if you would have told Frank 5 minutes before Paulie got a hold of me on Facebook, and 2 minutes before Paulie called, guess who I spoke to? Vinny, you want to talk to me? Want your number? I asked, get permission to give me the number. If you would have told him a day before, who's going to be one of the last people to see you? Not your wife, not your brother. The brother was up there with his wife. They were up there. Vinny Bracco. He would have said, what? I haven't seen Vinny since like 1990. It was Vinny. So I've had closure moments. And the funny thing is, it's like an analogy. Would you rather let 5 criminals out of prison or have 1 innocent man do life? I enjoyed the closing of an era, but what comes with the closing of an era comes the revelation that you're aging, that it will be you one day. And you just hope that you did enough here on earth to sustain. Because I got to tell you, man, I was talking to my friend today about this. My friend, my ex-fiance, who's a doctor at Columbia. In fact, the life is so crazy. Ira and I became best friends. I met Ira about 10 years ago through Mitch. My ex, who I'm best friends with, her dad was a heart surgeon. He operated on Ira's father at St. Francis. Is that amazing? So you mean to tell me God knew all this? I'll give you why I think life. I left this girl. I had abandonment issues because of Lydia dying. And she was going to medical school. And I can equate it to, I was moving out of a house where I lived for many years, and we had to be out January 1st. Christmas night, it was like we weren't moving. I didn't deal with it until the morning. Well, I was fine with her on my birthday. Did my gig at the barn in Labor Day weekend at the Stone Pony. Went there. And then I left her. In fact, I found out many years later she took 6 months off of medical school. I almost ruined her career. So it gets better. She was a Jersey girl, Homedale. Came here when she was 11, the 11 plus exams. The 11 plus exams are like SATs for 11-year-olds in England. and you take the 11 plus exam, and that's where they put you, depending on how well you do it, matriculated or whatever. So she came here right before the 11 plus exams, and I'm out in Long Island with my friend Rich. We end up stumbling into a restaurant which I've never been to, never would go there. And I said, "Oh my God, that's my ex, Courtney." He said, "What?" I didn't know what to do. First thing was like, waitress. Not that there's anything wrong with being a waitress, but there's a bit of a gap between waitress and surgeon. And she saw me and comes over. "How you doing? Blah, 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 blah. How are you doing?" "Oh, good. I'm a doctor." And so she's not my waitress. And I said to Rich, like, how could she just lie to me right here? She's a waitress. She shows me her ID, intern. And she said I had a deal and a bet with one of my friends. Who is it harder to be on your feet for 12 to 14-hour shifts as an intern or a waitress? So, so I give her my cell phone number. I didn't have her number. And she goes home and says, "Mother, you wouldn't believe who I saw tonight." And she said, "Vincent." Now, Courtney says to herself, "Wait a minute, I didn't give any my number, did I?" And it was her mother's house. She lived with her mother and father because she had a 4-year-old, a marriage that didn't work out. And she said, why would you say that?" She said, "You're right, but why would you say that?" She says, "Because I saw you smile 3 times in your life like this. The first night when you went out with him, the night you had Britt, her daughter, and tonight." And that floored me. It gets better. Now I figured the father would be very angry at me because I kind of hurt her. "Oh, they want to see you. They're living in Douglaston now, 254th Street." I said, "Oh, all right." A couple of days later, he's very nice, time and the night I met her again, November 15th, 1993, was 9 years. I remember because, it had just come out, Ordinary World. That must have been, if someone could check, I think it was November. It came out. It was all over the radio playing. It was 93, November 15th, 9 years to the day I met her. First time I ever met her. So her parents, the mother was nice. The father was a little odd until about 20 minutes in. And then he was the old Milo because we always got along. She said, so they go into the study and start watching TV, her mother and Milo, and her grandmother, who lived there too. And she said, "Come upstairs. I want to show you something." Now, I knew there was nothing insidious about it. It was salacious, but I went up and she goes, "Shh." She opens the door and in a British voice, little boy, "Mama?" It was her daughter. So I look at her jokingly. I said, "That's disgusting. Your parents at their age?" She goes, "You're still an asshole." The girl gets up and runs to me and hugs me. And these are the moments that you can't you can't choreograph them. I couldn't come up with a story like this that is novelette esque. And to this day, besties. And we got through that awkwardness of Why did you do that to me? And it was probably abandonment issues that I felt, and the father, the parents who were going to get engaged, but she wanted to get engaged properly in England that Christmas, and they were going to buy us in the Fort Lee Towers. It was $110,000 the condo in 1985, 1,400 square foot, beautiful, dry cleaner. It was like the Bay Club, the Bay Club and North Shore Towers Bank. Um, Amalgamated Bank was the bank down there. I remember because she had to go up to. She was going to go to medical school. She won undergrad Columbia, so a little closer to the path train. It never happened, but for some reason we were supposed to meet. I helped her. She never remarried. I helped her with some issues with her daughter. She helped me medically. I find out that her father operated on Ira's father. And that's the connection, me and Ira, who have a tremendous bond. Because there's synergy, there's energy. Danae and I were talking about this last night. Danae said when she looked at me, nothing, physically, but when she looked at me, she thought that like she could connect with my eyes and that we could be friendly. And yeah, some people just did a perfect song right after the hit song on the album. Interesting enough, where after you hear Here, There, and Everywhere by Paul McCartney and the Beatles, you don't say, okay, I heard the song. I don't need the album anymore. No, the following song is like, oh, well, this one's good too. Well, that's what happens. You meet people in your life, and there's a reason why you meet them. And I really do believe sometimes you never know the reason. Now, I can look at it. I helped her daughter, and the daughter's a doctor too now. But it goes deeper than that. It goes deeper than that. And, you know, it's like pornography. You can't explain it, but you know it when you see it. There's that energy. There's that special fiber of being that gets you the way no one else gets you. Not saying you love them more than your spouse or what, nothing to do with that. It's like you're in the middle of a massive heart attack. You know what the most important person in the world is at that moment? Not your wife holding your hand. It's the guy saying, scrub up. It's that guy. It goes back to your wife. But right then and there, it's him. He is your whole world. There are people that are put in your way to make you trip, to skin your knee. Think about it. With all the people we've met, and I'm being serious, probably 5,000 people. I at a club, right? I met 800 people, 1,500 people a night, and maybe 400 or 500 were frequent flyers, regulars. I met a lot of people, and I'd like to think I'm amiable enough where they'd want to still talk to me. I'm no great shakes, but I'm not the worst guy in the world. Hey, Al. So there's just something with meeting people that fill your life with something. It's like me having a Maserati. Do you know how many girls you can go out with? You don't remember their names, but you remember where you went on the date. You could be the kind of person that a girl could be talking to her friends 40 years later and they remember your name. There's just something about, I remember his name, something about this guy. You all are one of those people if you'd like to be. You know the best way for you to be remembered? Be you. I can get Al Pacino to walk in here right now, Robert De Niro. They can't be a better Vinnie Bracco than Vinnie Bracco could be. They can come close, and these are Oscar winners. Why would you ever want to be someone else when you own who you are? No one can do it better. Think about it. I love people. I have friends. I still socialize with them. I know them like 53 years. And the funny thing is also, you can meet friends now that you are actually closer with than friends you know for 40 or 50 years. Now, I don't know what that's a different, totally different ball game. Like, I'll give you an example. Taking Ira out of the picture. Al, we met on here about 4 years ago. Al and I socialize. I could tell Al anything. We have that closeness. There are people, and it has to do with being your contemporary around the same age. You went through the same things. I try to be. I like people. As Courtney would say, I don't suffer fools gladly, which is a British term meaning like you don't go for the bullshit. If you see through someone, you don't need to have your. I don't need you to tickle my ass with a feather. I know what it feels like. I need you to be real. I don't need you stealing from me because if I had it, I'd give you. I don't need you lying about me. Just come to my face. Not a confrontation, just come to my face. Maybe you can improve my life. Maybe there's something I do that, wow, I'm glad you told me that. I try to be friendly. I try to help people. And there's some people that just feel threatened by it, I think. Remember, when people stir the shit and start trouble, they're insecure. They're insecure. And I wasn't always the most secure guy in the world. Definitely not. You don't get more secure. You learn not to give a shit. You learn not to give a shit. Someone was talking to me about James Bond when I did the show, and they said, "Do you think they made James Bond effeminate?" I said, "No, not at all." They said, "How can you say that?" I said, "Because you just asked me. If you don't want me to talk, don't ask me a question." I said, "No, they just put stronger women around him that made him look effeminate." Think about it. Back in the 60s, Sean Connery would take a smack at a girl. If she didn't, he'd grab her wrist and take a smack at her. Now, M was a woman until Ralph Fiennes took over, right? They just made the men around him the same. The women were stronger women. They were more his equal. And I thought it was great. I thought it was great. Why wouldn't you want a woman that is an equal? Why wouldn't you? I don't know why you wouldn't. So your answer from a half hour ago, yes, there's life after death, Patty. Or at least there better be. Like I said, I'm screwed if there isn't. But I use the arts as an emollient when life gets tough. Yeah, you told me that, Al. I like Sean Connery. I'll tell you the difference between Roger Moore and Sean Connery. By the time Roger Moore took over, we weren't as much into the Cold War anymore. Got to remember, Connery, 1962, Dr. No, you're right in the middle of the Cold War there. The Cuban Missile Crisis was a year later. And then they invented Spectre because they didn't want to insult Russia. So now they had Spectre, which was an organization that had gangsters and Russians and anyone, a criminal enterprise. Roger Moore didn't have to deal with the bruteness. Daniel Craig was more like the Bond character, Ian Fleming, than anyone. The guy's an assassin. There was more gadgetry. There was more humor with Roger Moore. And Al, I agree. It's funny. It's on Netflix now, and I've been watching them. When I was laid up last week sick, I've watched like 5 or 6 of them from Ground Zero. And yeah, Roger Moore was a lot better than I had ever remembered he was, but that's because I hadn't seen his in a long time. Yeah, I also think that Roger Moore dealt with a few stronger scripts, like On Her Majesty's Secret Service. That was Lansby, right? That was a strong script. I would have loved to seen that. Now, that was supposed to come after Diamonds Are Forever. Originally, Diamonds Are Forever was supposed to be right after Thunderball, I think. And what happened was one of the greatest lines. Yeah, Roger Moore died, Patty. This is one of the greatest lines ever. I don't go Scarlet. I don't give a damn. Who cares? Either way. This is one of the best lines. This is right after Thunderball. This is a 1969, I think. You have the spoof with David Niven. This is a tremendous line. No one ever talks about it. That's why you got to come on here. But whoever wrote this tagline was amazing. You tell me this isn't perfect.
Put your hands behind your head. Move.
So, of course, he does his thing. He beats them up, and she sees him rescue her. Right? So she goes in a car, and she takes off. He looks right in the camera and says this.
This never happened to the other fella.
This never happened to the other fella. Hey, Danae, is that amazing? What a line. And Lansby did a good job. I thought Telly Savalas was great as Blofeld, and I thought it was Diana Rigg. She left The Saint to do this movie and then went back. Al, you should. Al, you know what you have to do? We don't have to do it. One night, come over. Ira likes it, and we'll watch one of the movies. We'll order dinner in, and we'll watch the movie. I think Thunderball was good. The first couple were great. You have to remember, he got his feet under him, Connery. He learned how to play the part. No, I know. We'll watch a Sean Connery one, Al. There's a couple that are really good. I did my ratings. I think I thought it was Connery. Honestly, I think Pierce Brosnan was brilliant in it. Brosnan took a little of everyone. and made it his own. I thought Lazenby was a little stiff. It's big shoes to fill. I think in 1971, if you remember Bruce Glover, in 1971, I know, Danae. In 1971, when he did Diamonds Are Forever, it looked like he was a little bloated from Thunderball. In that 5-year period, he looked like he aged 15 years. They remade it in 83, Thunderball. Called it Never Say Never Again because that's what he had said to Chubby Broccoli, that he'd never play Bond again. He looked better then. He was 53. Honey West, yeah, sure. Absolutely. But some of those characters are great. Daniel Craig was menacing. He was a killer. They did away with this stupid joke. See, Roger Moore joked around all the time. Sean Connery did also. But I thought Brosnan would have been good. I made my list of actors that I thought would have been good James Bonds. Do you know that Cary Grant was offered the first one? But Cary Grant would only sign on for one. And they wanted to have at least a couple of commitment, 2-3 movie deal. And he wouldn't do it. They sold that for a TV special in the mid 50s. And there was James Bond in the mid 50s in American television. They sold the script. I forget who played him. And then he went away for 7 years. But 1964, you have to remember the Brits. I love the Brits, even before I met Courtney. I love Lulu, To Serve With Love. I love James Bond. In 1964, James Bond came out and Hard Day's Night. I think it was either American artist. I forget who it was. But Piccadilly was rocking that theater there. And just great movies. Great movies. The action and the money was unbelievable in them. Of course you can. Yeah, Al, I'd love you to. Are you crazy? This is a dear friend of mine. I haven't had any on so long I forgot to do it. Hold on, here it goes. This is for Al, this link. Grab it, buddy. Oh, I'm sorry, Pat. Yeah, George Clooney would have been good. John Hamm would have been good. Maybe McConaughey. Hey, G, I'm doing good. How you doing? So what do you think with the beard? Should I keep on growing it or what? Or does it make me look silly and stupid and 15 years past the midlife crisis? This is about 10 days. I was going to grow it 2 months. I want to look like John Lennon in The Undertaker's suit. I'm not going to talk about any sad stuff. I did that before, Gina. You have to give me a heads up and text me when you're coming on so I clean up the show. I don't want to upset you. Vinny's Angels. Keep it? Really? You don't think I look silly in it? No, I was going to. Honestly, now that I'm thinner, it looks better. I tried it a while back. I was heavier, though. Like, if I show you a picture, look at the difference. This is now. And this is 10 years ago. Big difference, huh? Really, G? Yeah, I'm going to keep it. You know, and I have to tell you something. I don't know if it's mind over matter or whatever, just I'm half out of my mind, but I always remembered it itching. This doesn't itch. I'm not itching. I'm fine. And I know I'm not past that. You know, it's only 10 days. Al, where are you? But I hope you're all doing well. We were talking about Gina. Winter is kind of, you know, in the rear view, like Bon Voyage, you're 5 miles out, and the fucking idiots still by. Can't see them. But yeah, spring training. I'm going to go down to Florida, March 13th to the 17th. Go visit my boy Jeff. Take my son to the complex, meet some players, have a good time, find a casino. I think Hard Rock is about an hour away or 45 minutes. You know, I'll be going there. I could use a little vacation. It's been a tough couple of months. And in fact, Rob Finaro from The Sopranos is going down in Florida. He's going to do a gig there. And I forget if it's in March. Maybe I can get him out to the track. I spoke to him the other day. He's such a good dude. But Al must have gone down to his computer and started it. So press 1 to keep or 2 to get rid of. Should I keep the beard? Now remember, it's going to get longer. Unfortunately, you don't have that option with other things, but it's going to get longer. So, but I like it this length, actually, to be honest with you. Not bad. Right? You can actually see it. Maybe I'll keep it. I don't know. You know, I usually chicken out of beards. After a while, I'll make it just a goatee. If I make it a goatee, you know I'm getting rid of it. It's just that's easing myself into another failed attempt to grow a beard. So I'll do that. No, you're not going to get me said. Oh, okay. I'll email it to you right now. Okay, Al, I just sent it. Your 2 cents is worth $1. The exchange rate is very good in my house when it comes to UG. Yeah, I'm going to grow it. I'll grow it. Maybe I'll take it off my birthday in August or something. I don't know. Anthony Caroli? Really? Congratulations, Patty. Oh, good for him. Al and I were talking about James Bond the other day. And yeah, he only remembers really watching Roger Moore. Because you're going to remember, I happened to get into it because my father took me. It was 1970 or 1971, actually, when Diamonds Are Forever came out. It was a double feature. Remember them? Well, Thunderball was the first one. So I saw Roger Moore. I saw Sean Connery. And then 5 years later or 6 years later, he did that. And I did that one. I saw that one, which was the newest one. So I started with Connery. That was the experience with my father. First time I ever seen Bond, so probably a little bit is that. There he is. Ladies and gentlemen. Hey-o. My boy, Al. Hey, Al.
Vinny, how's it going?
How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm just shutting down these other YouTube things so
Oh, okay.
you don't get an echo. I'm doing good. Hi, everyone out there.
Say hi to Al.
Vin, I just wanted to say I keep getting Roger Moore and Sean Connery mixed up. And Roger Moore, he's the only one I remember with the James Bond. I was never a big James Bond guy, even though I know those films are great.
Oh, yeah.
And I have to catch up. I remember him turning with the gun. And and I never saw Sean Connery as James Bond, but so many people swear that he was the best. And when you see Sean Connery and you see his work, you could see how he must have been a blast to watch as James Bond.
Well, you come over one night. Me, you, and Ira we'll rent one. We'll order food in, and we'll watch one. Now, which is do you remember the first Roger Moore that you ever watched? What Bond? Would it have been
I never really watched the series. There was Live and Let Die, and what was the one where the big black guy like shot up into the sky and into a tunnel?
Oh, in air, yeah.
And there was the other one where he was fighting with this guy on that car going over the mountains in the snow. The big tall guy.
That was Telly Savalas. No, that one was. I don't even know which one that one was. He was on.
He was a big guy, giant guy, and he had these big teeth, and they were fighting.
Last name was Keel. He just died.
Yeah, really. Yeah. And they were fighting in this car, and it looked like James Bond was finished, and somehow he came out of it.
I used to tell people, how does he ever catch anybody? He's either drinking or getting laid. How does he ever catch anybody? But
and then I saw some 50s movies, and Roger Moore was in there where you looked exactly the same, like 20-something years younger. And
yeah. Roger Moore played The Saint, which was a spy show.
Okay.
And he played The Saint. I think that's how he got the role. It is. Now, I liked...
Well, he was good. Even... I imagine Sean Connery was better, as a...
Hey, Miss Campion.
As an acting fan, I prefer Sean Connery to Roger Moore, but Roger Moore was the only one I knew as James Bond.
Okay, well,
because I never saw Sean Connery. I didn't see those 60s movies.
Yeah, Connery.
I know he had great actresses, Ursula Andress, and
she's beautiful.
You know, Claudine Unger or something. He was surrounded by beautiful women, and I heard he was a nude model before he even became a pro. Yes. Sean Connery was a nude model for acting students, not acting students, art students, doing things with clay and that, or he was up there and they were painting him. So he was apparently a very, big deal back in the day. Yeah.
I think he came in number 2 for Mr. America, whatever, England or whatever. Miss Campion says, hi, are you still drinking coffee?
Yeah. And I was doing coffee. I was live today on my show, and I still have the Tim Hortons, Canada's favorite coffee.
How is that?
It was great. The first time I had this was on a cruise in 2010 to Canada, and I got it in Halifax, and they said it was a big deal back then. And I saw it again and on Amazon, so I got it. It is great. It's like Dunkin' Donuts, only with a richer taste and stronger. And I see they have them around now in Brooklyn and Staten Island and some parts of Long Island. Tim Hortons. Yeah, that's, this is going to be my last cup. Yeah.
I used to love when you say, today it's a blend.
Yeah, we're going to get back to some of those days.
Yeah. Now, there were actors that almost played James Bond. Okay. And Henry Cavill. He almost got the role in Casino Royale. He was from the Tudors, I think.
I'm not familiar.
Okay. Terrence Stamp.
I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to tell you. I have an idea.
Terrence Stamp almost got the role. Now, Terrence Stamp was older when the second Wall Street. Oh, no. Was it? Yeah. What the hell was it? Wall Street. Terrence Stamp was the older guy that Michael Douglas screwed over for a deal. But, 20 years before. Mel Gibson, he said no. Gibson turned it down.
I don't think Gibson would have made a good James Bond.
Sam Neill.
He was more over the top. He was more the tough guy and crazy guy. The Bonds were never like that. They were calm, cool, and collected.
Sam Neill. You know who would have been good? Did you ever see Charmed?
Sam Neill. Yeah, I like Sam Neill as an actor.
And Julian
Bond,
McMahon. Julian McMahon played the devil in Charmed. He would have been good. And Hugh Jackman was offered it as well.
I don't know. He's too cute to be James Bond.
James Brolin was offered, but Brolin said he thought it should be
Brolin is too tough to be Bond. I mean, Bond walked a fine line, and I think Connery can do it, even though he was really strong. He had like the other features going, and as did Roger Moore.
Yeah, and he became an Oscar-winning actor. Sean Connery won the Oscar.
He did?
Supporting actor. Yeah, I forget which one. He was a great actor, Sean Connery. And they were best friends, you know.
And he had the accent.
Yeah. And the funny
that
thing
made it good. That made
Scottish
it good.
guys.
And he was so tough and stoic, and he really laid it to you. Like, he'd look at you if you gave him a wrong look or you said something he didn't agree with.
Well, he got in trouble because he did an interview where he said, hitting a woman, depending on the situation, I don't think it's such a terrible thing. He got
there you go.
Yeah, right. This was the 60s. But no, I love that. And I really believe that was really the first franchise. Think about it. I know you had Rambo and then Indiana Jones and Rocky, but that was really the first franchise in the 60s where every 2 years a movie came out. That was the same theme. I know that Felix Leiter's character, the CIA operative, was always a different guy. They never kept him constant. Now, I was talking to an actor a few years ago. Do you know who was signed on to do Star Trek and had to pull out of it?
Let me think. I kind of remember hearing this one. No.
I'll show you. You'll probably remember it. This guy was signed on. And I wonder how it would have been. Because, he was.
I know. And he was going to play Kirk?
Yes. Ready?
How about the original Kirk? Okay, go ahead.
I'm going to show you now.
Not the original Kirk, the captain.
Watch this.
Captain Pike.
Jack Lord.
No. I'll take Shatner over him. Jack Lord is good, but
yeah, you never can tell though, because if you would have saw Jack Lord first, we never know. It's very hard when you replace someone. Oh yes, that's it, Ira. It was Living Let Die. It was the train, and he got his hand caught. Yes.
Oh, he got the hand caught right in the thing. Great job, Ira. Ira, always on top of it.
Ira's always.
I know when we talked in the car, man. Well, I know when we talked in the car going to Saratoga, he was all over these trivia questions and obscure things.
Yeah, that's our the threesome where we go to these tracks and have a ball. But
here's another one.
Yeah.
Do you remember that show? No, I'm not going to ask a stupid question like this. Lost in Space.
Yeah, Billy Mumy.
Yeah, Billy Mumy and Guy Williams.
Okay.
Guy Williams, he played the father, and he was the Zorro. He's a hero back in, whatever country that, Zorro originated from. And he was supposed to be the big star of that show. And he was for a while, for a few episodes. And all of a sudden, the guy that played Dr. Smith started getting involved in all these scenes. And he was carrying on and overacting. He was screaming and pulling stunts. And he became the star of the show and the highest paid actor on the show. And Guy Williams was the guy that had the big reputation.
Really?
Came in here. He was Zorro. and
I didn't know that. I got to put his
they
name on.
never got along because
really?
Guy Williams was tremendously jealous.
Ira just got a compliment. Danae adores you, Ira. You see that? Ira's getting popular. I might as well have him come over and do the show.
Come on, man. But this
But-
guy, Guy Williams, he was supposed to be the star of the show. And the guy, Dr. Smith, I forget his name.
I don't think I
He
ever
was
heard
getting all the scenes, getting all the big scenes, stealing the scene times with Will and the robot.
I remember the robot.
And he became like almost invisible. But Guy Williams stayed on because he was still getting a good salary. He wasn't going to quit the show.
Get his picture up here. You know who that happened to?
And what happened is this. What happened is this.
Guy Williams.
Yeah, a guy that played Dr. Smith, you know, he felt bad about Guy Williams, and he confronted him, and he says, you know, because of what's going on the show, you know, I think we could have been friends at another time, but I don't think we can be now. And you know, I feel bad about this, that he's getting all the attention. And Guy Williams was like, get lost, and pushed him away.
Really?
and Dr. Smith turned around and he says, that was the stupidest thing I ever could have done. I never should have went up to him that way. And
Really?
you know, he said, I wish I could have just, you know, dropped dead right there. And that's what
Guy
he said.
Williams. There he
Yeah.
is, right there. There
Guy
he is.
Williams, yeah.
Well, you know
And
what
he
that
was
happened?
a great actor. And
That
he played a great father figure on that TV show.
Really? You know that happens. Remember Henry Winkler took over Happy Days?
Right.
More-
He was supposed to be a bit part.
Yeah. Do you know my friend Patty teaches at Juilliard, and she said that back in the day, Chris Reeve and Robin Williams were roommates, and they
Chris Reeve and Robin Williams.
roommates.
Chris Reeves, Superman, Chris Reeves?
Yeah, and they spoke
Okay.
to Juilliard, and Robin Williams said, "Who would have thought it? We were going to be Shakespearean actors. You ended up being Superman, and I ended up being Popeye." He said, well, you know who were roommates also in Carnegie Mellon? Charles Bronson and Jack Klugman.
Charles Bronson and
Jack Klugman.
Klugman.
Yeah, those are pretty rough-looking guys.
Who was the other one? Wasn't who was Al Gore roommates with? Was he Charles Bronson too?
Al Gore?
Al Gore. He was roommates with one of these actors in college.
Really? Oh, I
Let me
didn't.
look that up. You keep it going. I'll look that
Okay.
up. He
Yeah.
was, it might have been, no. He was roommates with the guy in Men in Black. Who was that guy?
Tommy Lee Jones?
Yes. They were
Really?
roommates. Al Gore and Tommy Lee Jones.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting. Tommy Lee Jones is good.
Well, Tommy Lee Jones, he kind of reminds me of Bronson in some way, but that's why I got the
Yeah,
connection.
I can see that. Absolutely. I can see that. But acting, and as you see, and you too, that movie you turned me on to was almost like a Pulp Fiction. What was that one I saw last month?
Go.
Yes. That was really good.
That
It
was
Pulp
sick.
Fiction. You know, that happened before.
Who was that actor? The guy that played the guy that jumped on the bed nude, and he goes, "Feel this mattress, man." And he hit him on the ass when he was like holding him up. He goes, "Oh, I bet you could scrub laundry on these abs."
William Fichtner?
Yeah. He was
Fichtner's
amazing.
great. I loved Katie Holmes.
Katie Holmes is tremendous.
I
You
love
know,
her.
I feel so bad for her getting involved with Tom Cruise, except for the publicity end of it.
She's a
Because,
nut.
you know, she is tremendous.
Yeah, that's
And she is
Scientology.
cute as pie.
Oh, absolutely. You know what's interesting? John Travolta doesn't seem as crazy with that Scientology, and he's a Scientologist. But
Is
doesn't
he
seem
still?
crazy. I think so. Now, someone denounced it. Was it Leah Remini?
Dianetics. Remember that Dianetics
Yeah, L.
commercial?
Ron Hubbard.
The book, the volcano exploding.
L. Ron Hubbard.
I bought that book at the time, and I was like, I thought maybe it'd give me some insight into things. And I started reading. It was like, I just don't agree with this. I don't get it. And I never got past like
The
maybe
insight
50
you got
pages.
is that people are nuts. Angela Cartwright played the sister. She was in the Sound.
You
of
know,
Music.
because they pushed it
Really?
as a self-help book, and it
Right.
really wasn't that kind of book. And,
Right.
you know, I caught on.
Yeah. Sound of Well, Debbie Reynolds got "Singing in the Rain" from a movie, A Catered Affair with Betty Davis and Ernest Borgnine. She was seen in that, and they gave her the "Singing in the Rain" because of that. Yeah, that's a
Wow.
great movie. You have to watch that movie, A Catered Affair. Ernest Borgnine and Betty Davis. Oh, it's
I'll
great.
write it down right now.
Oh, you will
because
love it.
I haven't seen it. A Catered Affair.
And The Apartment with Jack Lemmon.
That is great.
Great movie. Da, 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 da. Yeah, he was great. Fred McMurray was in that.
Fred McMurray.
Shirley MacLaine. She was cute too, Shirley MacLaine.
She was when she had a pretty good body.
Yeah, she's pretty.
Warren Beatty's sister, man.
Warren Beatty. Yeah.
Warren Beatty, remember him in Shampoo with the blow dried hair and all that?
What do you
with
think of him as a
Goldie
James
Hawn?
Bond?
That was the first R-rated movie I ever went to.
Really?
Shampoo. I think it was 73, 74. I was underage and I snuck in. I thought it was a big deal. I remembered nothing about the movie when I saw it. It was just like, am I going to see something? And I didn't see much. But I saw it years later, and it's a good movie. Shampoo. Warren Beatty.
Yeah, Shampoo was good.
And he was at the top of his game.
Yeah.
He was looking his best. And
What do you think of him as James
Julie
Bond?
Christie was in there too.
What do you think of him as James Bond?
No,
No?
no, not tough enough. No.
Yeah, you're right. I saw The Exorcist. That was the first real rough movie I went to see in 1973.
Wow.
Do you remember waiting outside a movie theater and you see a couple walking in? Can you get us in, please? Can you get us in? I remember we used to do that. Yeah, we always did that.
Yeah, I used to go to what's that? The Aaron Theater. It was on Metropolitan Avenue, and they kind of let you sneak in.
Oh, really?
But yeah.
Did you ever
it's
go
where
to
that pizzeria is now.
Did you ever see Al? Did you ever go to the movie theaters to see a big fight? Like Ali, remember they used to.
No, one time I did though. I don't know if you remember in the 80s, Art Russ Jr. used to have a call-in show on 77 AM radio.
Yeah.
And that was before WFAN. And it was 85 or 86. And I used to be a caller. I'd call in about the Yankees and Ricky Henderson and Doc Gooden. It was like Yankees and Mets back then. I called in all the time. And one time I called in and he goes, "Hey, Alan, stay on the line." Art Russ Jr., black guy, a big sports. He co-wrote a book with Darryl Strawberry. And he goes, "Stay on the line. We have tickets for you to see Leon Spinks and not Leon Spinks, Michael Spinks and Mike Tyson." And it was on the big screen at Madison Square Garden. So I didn't see it in the movies, but I went to the Garden. They had a few live fights, and then it came on the big screen. So I was there, not at the movies, but to see that Spinks.
I saw Leonard Duran.
Tyson fight. He knocked him out in like 40 seconds.
Yeah. I saw Leonard Duran in 1980. They were playing it in Monticello.
That must have been crazy. That was the biggest fight probably in years.
And when Hearns fought Leonard, no, it was Hearns Leonard, I think. Hearns was
and Duran won that fight, right?
Yeah, and Hearns was beating Leonard before Leonard beat him. Hearns was beating Leonard.
Hang on. You went to the Duran.
No, I'm sorry. It was Hearns. It was the summer. Hearns and Leonard. I didn't go to the live.
Leonard won that fight.
Yeah, it was in Monticello. They played it in something, and me and my friends who were like 19, we all drove up there. And but he was getting beat in that fight.
I don't know how.
Oh, what I was going to say.
The big fight I'm thinking of is Duran Leonard when Duran won that first fight.
Yeah, that was amazing. And then the
1980, he beat him.
Oh, so maybe that was the one I went to. Yeah, it was 80.
It was Duran beat Leonard, and then Leonard beat him the next time, and it was no mas.
Right.
But
Right.
that first fight, Duran got him.
Yeah, that was some fight. I'm going to show you someone now.
How about Hearns Hagler? That was a great fight.
That was an amazing fight.
Four rounds of throwing bombs,
Yeah, that was incredible.
and Hearns broke his hand with one of the shots.
Yeah. Yeah, this guy, Bruce Glover, was in Diamonds Are Forever, right? And that guy next to him is Crispin Glover, the guy from Back to the Future. That was his father. Now, this was the first time.
Hey man, Crispin Glover, that's him?
Yeah, and that's his father, Bruce Glover. Bruce Glover was in Diamonds Are Forever with Putter Smith. Putter Smith was a jazz musician who played with Thelonious Monk. They walked into a bar and they took him as a villain, and him and Bruce Glover played homosexual killers. They never said it, but they'd hold hands. One is putting on perfume. Really, in 1971, the world was changing. Maybe that's why he left.
What a small world.
Yeah, I never knew that. I happened to read it the other day.
Whatever happened to Crispin Glover's? Does he do anything anymore?
I don't know. I know he sued the Back to the Future franchise because in the second one, they didn't hire him because of a walkout or something where he wanted more money. So they used his likeness, and he won in court.
Nice.
It was like,
Remember that scene in the first one when Michael J. Fox was like tailing him almost, and Crispin Glover is crossing the street, and Michael J. Fox is like trailing him. He's like, "What do you keep following me around?"
I tell you, that was one of the most perfect 80s movies, that movie. Science fiction, comedy. It was, and Michael J. Fox was amazing.
Yeah, and he's kissing his mother or whatever.
Yeah. Do you know who was originally signed for that and actually filmed half the movie? And they scrapped it? Eric Stoltz.
He would have been great.
They did half the movie. And then they fired him. Then re-recorded everything.
And he would have. I love Eric Stoltz.
Yeah, I love him. They thought he was too intense.
You're right. You know what? When you think about it, he was much more intense than Michael J. Fox.
Remember him in Mask?
Yeah, but he was in that movie. What is that?
Mask.
What's the
Cher.
movie?
With Cher, Mask. The disfigurement.
Yes, he was there, but he was in that other one
He was
with.
in Pulp Fiction. He played the drug dealer.
Yeah, he's way too intense for Back to the Future.
Yeah.
And the other one with Demi Moore's ex-husband. It was
Bruce Willis?
Demi Moore's ex-husband. The Butterfly Effect.
I never saw that.
Oh my God! Get it tomorrow. Get it tomorrow. The
Who
Butterfly.
was in that?
And Ashton Kutcher.
Oh, I like him.
Reese Witherspoon.
Oh, that's a good guess.
Eric Stoltz.
I love
This movie is so sick and over the top. You're going to be like, oh my God.
I'm a big movie. Were you always a big movie guy?
Yes. The
Me
Butterfly Effect.
Yeah.
Anyone? Ira, did you ever see The Butterfly Effect? You still there? Come on, man. That got to be like a 10 out of 10.
You ever see that, Ira? The Butterfly Effect? I never saw it.
Ashton Kutcher. This other guy. What's that red-haired guy? The guy from Pulp Fiction and Mask. What's his name?
Oh, Eric Stoltz?
Yeah.
He's great.
He's so good in The Butterfly Effect. You just want to strangle him.
When did it
But
come
at the
out?
same time, he is so good and so creepy. It's like, ah.
Oh, 2004. 2004 it came out. Here's a little preview of it.
That is a great movie, The Butterfly Effect. You make it bigger.
You said those blackouts.
Watch this.
Some of those memories have been coming back to me.
There are moments in life we choose to remember.
Do you think that we'll be together forever?
And some memories
No, it's Amy Smart, not Reese
we can
Witherspoon.
never forget.
All I know is if by reading these journals, I might be able to get Kaylee back.
I like it already.
What you're doing, you could wake up a lot worse off than you are now. I haven't seen results like this before.
But what if you could go back in time?
Wow.
Completely relaxed. Think of it like a movie. You can pause, rewind, or slow down.
Could you save the one person that mattered the most?
Honey, are you all right?
You.
Oh my God.
Incredible. I lost you once, and I'm not losing you again.
Evan, you never lost me. What are you talking about?
You got nice life.
You stay away from me.
It's been a while since I could.
What about Kaylee? Is she all right? If I go back to the beginning, I might be able to save her.
I gotta
Just
watch.
tell me if you see anything weird. Weirder than this. Kid, you were happy once.
Yeah, it had a great soundtrack too. I
Oh
remember
my
that.
God. This looks great.
Why don't you go back and save me?
Right, they kind of he has a
Wouldn't
chance
believe
to
me if
go
I told
back.
you.
He keeps trying to change things.
You can't change who people are without destroying who they were.
It's unreal.
That's
Every
amazing.
time I try to go back in time,
I'm gonna watch that movie. I'm gonna watch.
Yeah.
Listen, I gotta run. I gotta go eat. My food just got here.
Vinny,
Al,
thanks
I'll
for
call you
having me
tomorrow.
on. Everyone,
We'll
Ira.
set up this week. We'll see each other.
Okay, have a good
Take care,
night,
brother.
everyone. Thanks,
Take care.
Vinny.
Thanks,
Bye.
Al. My dear friend Al. He's great. So everyone, thank you for coming on. Hope I gave you some good vibes, and I hope you enjoy your Monday. And just remember, Brooklyn loves you, even though you've never maybe been there, because I do. Good night.